Folake and Kola were very happy together. They loved each other so much. But there was one problem. They had no child. This made Folake sad. They went to many healers, hoping to find help, but nothing worked. Folake cried and prayed every day. One day, Folake decided to stop worrying and trust God. Soon after that, something special happened. Folake noticed she was pregnant. She was so happy and couldn't wait to tell Kola. Kola, I'm pregnant, Folake shouted with joy. Kola was so happy and he hugged her. They told their family and everyone was excited. They even had a small party to celebrate. 9 months passed and Folake gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. They named her Kumi. The whole village was happy and everyone came to celebrate. Kumi was loved by everyone and Folake and Kola felt blessed to have her. Kumi grew up surrounded by love. Everyone in the village knew her and liked her. She was kind, always greeting people with a smile, and she listened to her elders. Her parents, Folake and Kola, were so proud of her. Kumi's father, Kola, was a strong man and a famous palm wine tapper. Every day, he climbed tall trees to collect palm wine. He worked hard to take care of his family, making sure they had everything they needed. Life was good for them. But one day, something terrible happened. Kola was doing his work, climbing a very tall palm tree. Suddenly, he slipped and fell. The fall was very bad, and Kola didn't survive. When the news spread through the village, everyone was sad. Folake cried and cried. She had lost her husband, and now life was going to be hard for her and Kumi, who's now 16. The village mourned for Kola, but soon, Folake and Kumi were left to face their struggles alone. When Kola died, everything changed. His family came and took all the things he left behind. They took the house, the land, and even the little money he saved. Folake and Kumi were left with nothing. They had no choice but to leave and find a small place to live. Kumi, now 16, knew she had to be strong for her mother. Even though she was still young, she helped her mother with everything. Every day, they would wake up early and go out to look for work. Some days, they would farm on other people's lands, and other days, they would help with washing clothes or cleaning houses. It was hard, but they had no choice. They barely had enough to eat, but Kumi and Folake stayed close and helped each other through the tough times. One day, a rich man named Chief Saka needed workers to clean his big house. Everyone in the village knew about Chief Saka. He was very rich, and his house was bigger than any other house in the village. But there was something strange about him. Chief Saka had never remarried after his wife died many years ago, when he was still poor. The villagers whispered about Chief Saka, saying he had used his wife's spirit to gain all his wealth. But Folake and Kumi didn't care about the rumors. They needed the money, so they decided to go and work for Chief Saka. They spent the whole day cleaning his house, sweeping the floors, washing clothes, and doing whatever he asked. When they were done, Chief Saka paid them, and they were grateful for the work. As they left his big house, Folake and Kumi felt tired but thankful. Little did they know, working for Chief Saka would change their lives forever. After cleaning Chief Saka's big house all day, Folake and Kumi were about to leave when they overheard Chief Saka telling one of his servants he was hungry. The servant was about to go get food, but Folake quickly offered to cook for him instead. "Let me cook for you, Chief Saka," Folake said with a smile. "I'll make something special." At first, Chief Saka said no, but Folake promised, "If you don't like the food, I'll pay for a new one." Chief Saka laughed and agreed. Folake went to the market, bought the best ingredients, and cooked with all her heart. She made a delicious meal, better than she had ever made before. When Chief Saka tasted the food, he was amazed. "This is the best meal I've ever had. Chief Saka said, smiling. He thanked Folake over and over again, so impressed with her cooking. From that day on, Chief Saka asked Folake to come and cook for him every day. She agreed. And every morning, she and Kumi would go to his house, clean, and then Folake would make his favorite dishes. It became part of their daily routine. But it wasn't just the food that Chief Saka loved. Soon, he started to love Folake herself. He admired her kindness and strength. One day, he asked her a question that made her stop in her tracks. Folake, will you marry me? Chief Saka asked. Folake was surprised. She liked Chief Saka, but she was worried about what the villagers would say. They all thought Chief Saka had gained his wealth in strange ways, and she didn't want them to talk about her. But after thinking it over, Folake decided to follow her heart. She accepted his proposal. Within a few weeks, they got married. Folake was no longer just a servant in the house. She was now the wife of the house. Life was about to change for her and Kumi in ways they never expected. After marrying Chief Saka, life became so much easier for Folake and Kumi. They moved into Chief Saka's big house, filled with beautiful things. Folake no longer had to worry about money, and Kumi enjoyed the comfort of having everything she needed. The villagers looked at them with envy, amazed at how their lives had changed. With the money Chief Saka gave her, Folake decided to start a business. She became a clothing and jewelry merchant, traveling from town to town to buy and sell fine fabrics and shiny jewels. Folake loved her new life. She was respected, and people admired her for how hard she worked and how far she had come. But while Folake was busy building her business, something dark was happening at home. Chief Saka, who had always been kind and caring, began to change. He started looking at Kumi in a way that made her feel uncomfortable. Kumi, now 16, noticed that Chief Saka's eyes followed her whenever she was around. At first, she didn't think much of it, but over time, his behavior became more obvious. When Folake was away on her business trips, Chief Saka would find reasons to call Kumi to his side. He would ask her to bring him food or help him with small tasks around the house. But his intentions were not pure. Kumi felt uneasy around him, but she didn't know what to do. She didn't want to upset her mother, and she didn't want to believe that her stepfather could be thinking bad thoughts about her. Folake had no idea what was happening at home while she was away. She was busy with her business, traveling to faraway villages, selling her goods, and making a name for herself. But back home, Kumi was facing a growing fear, one that she couldn't yet put into words. Little did Folake know. This dark cloud hanging over their home was about to grow even darker. One day when Folake was away on another business trip, Chief Saka called Kumi into his room. He told her he was hungry and asked her to bring him some food. Kumi, though she felt uneasy, did as he asked. She cooked a meal and brought it to his room. When Kumi entered, Chief Saka smiled in a way that made her uncomfortable. "Come, sit by me," he said, patting the space next to him on the bed. Kumi hesitated but obeyed, sitting quietly on the edge of the bed. Without warning, Chief Saka started touching her in a way that didn't feel right. Kumi froze, her heart pounding. She tried to push his hands away, whispering, "Please stop." But Chief Saka didn't listen. He continued, and Kumi's fear grew. Just as things were about to get worse, there was a loud knock on the door. It was one of the servants, coming to ask Chief Saka a question. Chief Saka quickly stopped and told Kumi to leave. Kumi rushed out of the room, her heart racing. She felt dirty, scared, and confused. She couldn't believe what had just happened. The man who was supposed to care for her like a father had done something terrible. That night, when Folake returned from her trip, Kumi wanted to tell her what had happened. She waited until her mother was settled and then tried to speak. "Mother, something happened while you were away." Kumi started, her voice shaking. But Folake, tired from her long journey, waved her off. "Not now, Kumi. I'm too tired. We'll talk tomorrow." Kumi felt crushed. She wanted to tell her mother everything, but Folake didn't have the time to listen. Kumi went to bed that night with a heavy heart, scared of what might happen the next time her mother left. The very next day, Folake left early for another trip, eager to continue her business, not remembering Kumi had something to tell her. Kumi stayed behind as usual, preparing breakfast for Chief Saka. But this time, Chief Saka was determined. With Folake gone, he knew no one could stop him. While Kumi was busy in the kitchen, Chief Saka walked in. He cornered her, blocking the way out. "Kumi, don't fight this," he whispered, his voice dark and full of bad intentions. Kumi's heart pounded as she tried to back away, but there was nowhere to go. Before she could even scream, Chief Saka grabbed her, forcing himself on her. Kumi cried. She screamed for help, but no one heard her. The servants were outside, too far away to hear her pleas. She felt trapped and helpless. And when Chief Saka finally stopped, Kumi was left broken and in tears. She felt dirty and confused, unable to understand why this was happening to her. She wanted to run, to disappear, but there was nowhere to go. She cleaned herself up, but the pain inside didn't go away. That night, Folake came back from her trip. Kumi wanted to tell her what had happened, to run into her arms and cry, but she couldn't. Chief Saka was there, watching her, and Kumi felt like a prisoner in her own home. She looked at her mother, but the words just wouldn't come out. She was too scared, too broken to speak. The very next day it happened again. Chief Saka found her alone and attacked her once more. This time, he didn't just hurt her physically, he threatened her. "If you tell your mother," Chief Saka said, his voice cold and cruel, "I'll throw both of you out of this house. You'll have nothing. You'll be poor again, and I'll take everything away. Do you want that?" Kumi shook her head, too scared to say a word. She didn't want to lose their home or see her mother suffer. So she kept quiet, even though it hurt her so much inside. Chief Saka had taken away her voice, her safety, and her trust. And now, Kumi was trapped in a nightmare, too afraid to tell anyone. Days turned into weeks, and Kumi's life became a nightmare. Every time Folake left for her trips, Chief Saka took advantage of Kumi. She had no escape, no one to turn to. Each day, the fear of being thrown out of the house kept her silent. Kumi did what she was told, not because she wanted to, but because she was too scared to say no. Chief Saka's threats echoed in her mind. "If you say anything, you'll be back on the streets. You and your mother will have nothing." Kumi tried to avoid him, but it was impossible. She felt alone, trapped in the house where her own stepfather had become her worst fear. She often cried herself to sleep, praying that her mother would somehow notice. But Folake was always too busy, too focused on her business, to see what was happening right under her nose. Folake would come home tired and go straight to bed or spend time with Chief Saka, never giving Kumi the chance to tell her what was really going on. Kumi would look at her mother with sad eyes, hoping she'd see the pain. But Folake never noticed. She trusted Chief Saka completely. As each day passed, Kumi grew quieter and more withdrawn. She didn't laugh anymore. She didn't smile. Every morning when her mother left, she braced herself for what was coming. And every night, when Folake returned, Kumi wished she had the courage to speak, but fear held her back. The routine of fear and silence became part of Kumi's life, and she didn't know how to escape it. She was losing herself, and no one around her seemed to notice. All she could do was endure the pain and hope that one day, somehow, things would change. One morning, Kumi woke up feeling very sick. Her stomach churned and she felt dizzy. She thought maybe it was just a simple illness, but after days of feeling the same way, she started to worry. Then it hit her. Kumi was pregnant. Fear washed over her. How could this happen? What would she do? She didn't know how to tell her mother, and the thought of Chief Saka finding out terrified her. But she had no choice. She had to tell him. When Kumi told Chief Saka, his face darkened with worry. He knew this was a big problem. "We have to take care of this," he whispered coldly. Without wasting time, Chief Saka took Kumi to a local doctor in the village. He told the doctor that Kumi didn't know who got her pregnant, but she was too young to have a baby. The doctor, not knowing the truth, gave Chief Saka some pills and instructions on how to use them. When they returned home, Chief Saka handed the pills to Kumi, telling her, "These will keep the baby safe until we figure out what to do." Kumi, trusting his words, took the pills. But instead of keeping her baby safe, the pills caused her stomach to cramp with pain. A few hours later, Kumi felt something terribly wrong. She rushed to the bathroom and saw blood. Her pregnancy was gone. The baby was lost. Kumi cried for days. She didn't understand what had happened, but deep down, she knew something wasn't right. Chief Saka had lied to her. He didn't care about the baby. He only cared about keeping his secret hidden. But the nightmare didn't end there. Every time Kumi got pregnant, Chief Saka would take her back to the doctor, pretending he was worried about her health. Each time, the doctor gave pills, thinking he was helping. And each time, Kumi's pregnancies were ended before they could even begin. Kumi's heart broke more with each miscarriage. She felt like she was losing herself, losing everything. She no longer felt like a person, just a shadow, trapped in a cycle of abuse that she couldn't escape. All she could do was follow Chief Saka's orders, fearing the consequences if she didn't. It wasn't long before Kumi became pregnant again. By now, it had become a familiar and heartbreaking routine. As soon as she told Chief Saka, he took her to the local doctor, just as he always did. But this time, something was different. The doctor, who had seen Kumi many times before, began to suspect something wasn't right. He wondered why Kumi, a young girl, kept coming back with the same problem. He sensed there was more to the story than what Chief Saka had been telling him. When Chief Saka asked for the usual pills to end the pregnancy, the doctor hesitated. He decided to give Chief Saka a different pill, one that wouldn't harm the baby at all. He handed the pills to Chief Saka, telling him they would work differently this time. Chief Saka, not knowing the doctor's plan, gave the pills to Kumi, as usual, lying that they would take care of the pregnancy. Kumi took them, believing it would be the same as before. But days passed, and nothing happened. The pregnancy continued to grow. Chief Saka started to worry. Why wasn't it working? He waited and waited, but Kumi's belly slowly began to show signs of life growing inside her. He couldn't hide it much longer. In a panic, Chief Saka returned to the doctor. "The pills aren't working," he said, his voice trembling. The doctor looked at Chief Saka, his suspicions confirmed. "The pregnancy is too far along," the doctor said calmly. "There's nothing more I can do. The baby will come." Chief Saka felt fear grip his heart. The secret he had hidden for so long was about to come out, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. His lies, his abuse, and all the terrible things he had done to Kumi were on the verge of being exposed. With the doctor's words echoing in his mind, Chief Saka returned home, knowing that his time was running out. Soon, everyone would know the truth, and he couldn't stop it. As the weeks passed, Kumi's belly started to grow. At first, she tried to hide it, wearing loose clothes and avoiding her mother's eyes. But eventually, Folake noticed the changes in her daughter. One afternoon, as they were sitting together, Folake saw it clearly. Kumi was pregnant. Her heart stopped. "Kumi," she shouted. "What is this? Who is responsible for this?" Kumi, trembling, couldn't hold back the truth any longer. Tears streamed down her face as she broke down. "Mother, it's Chief Saka," she whispered, her voice shaking. Folake froze, not understanding. "What are you saying?" she asked, confused. Kumi sobbed harder and began to tell her mother everything. She explained how Chief Saka had been taking advantage of her whenever Folake was away on her trips. She told her how he forced himself on her, how he threatened to throw them out if she ever told anyone, and how she tried to speak up so many times but couldn't because Folake was always too busy with her business. "I was scared, mother," Kumi cried. "I didn't want us to be poor again. I didn't want to lose everything." Folake's heart shattered into pieces. She felt guilt wash over her. How could she have been so blind? How could she have missed the pain her daughter had been carrying all this time? Anger and sorrow filled her, and she could no longer contain her fury. Without saying a word, Folake stormed into Chief Saka's room, her face burning with rage. She found him sitting comfortably, unaware that his secret was finally out. "Chief Saka!" she screamed, her voice filled with fury. "How could you? How could you do this to my daughter?" Chief Saka, taken by surprise, stumbled over his words. "Folake, But Folake didn't let him finish. "You destroyed her. You broke her. And you thought you could get away with it." Her voice was trembling, her fists clenched. She was furious, heartbroken and ashamed that she had trusted Chief Saka all this time. Chief Saka tried to defend himself, but there was no excuse. The truth was out, and Folake was determined to make him pay for what he had done to her daughter. "Folake, it's not what you think," Chief Saka pleaded, his voice trembling. "You were always gone, busy with your business. I was lonely. I lost control." But his excuses only fueled Folake's fury. "Lonely?" she shouted. "That gives you the right to destroy my daughter's life. How could you do this to Kumi, to me?" Chief Saka, desperate, fell to his knees, begging her to keep the horrible secret hidden. "Please, Folake," he said. "If the village finds out, I'll lose everything. We'll both lose everything. Don't ruin us. Don't ruin me." But Folake was beyond reason. The pain of what had happened to her daughter and the guilt of not being there when Kumi needed her was too much. She couldn't keep the truth hidden any longer. Without hesitation, Folake left the house and called for a meeting in the village square. The villagers gathered, curious about what was going on. Folake stood in the center, her voice shaking with a mix of anger and sorrow, and she told them everything. She exposed Chief Saka's wickedness, every horrible thing he had done to Kumi. The village was outraged. People who once respected Chief Saka, who admired his wealth and power, turned against him. They couldn't believe the cruelty he had shown, and whispers of his abuse spread like wildfire through the village. Chief Saka's reputation was ruined. He became a man of disgrace, avoided by everyone, his wealth no longer able to shield him from the shame he now carried. People spoke of him not only as the man who gained his riches in strange ways, but also as the monster who abused his stepdaughter. Kumi, devastated and unable to bear the shame and trauma of what had happened, made the difficult decision to leave the village. She packed her things quietly and slipped away in the night, never to return. The pain was too deep, the memories too haunting for her to stay. Folake, heartbroken by the loss of her daughter and the betrayal of the man she once trusted, could no longer stay with Chief Saka. She too packed her belongings and left, choosing to start over somewhere far from the man who had destroyed her family. Chief Saka was left alone, his once grand house now empty and silent. The villagers who once admired him now avoided him. His riches and status couldn't save him from the shame that clung to him. He was a disgraced man, living with the consequences of his actions, abandoned by everyone. I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.